Good? Huh? Wow. I'm sorry that you can't see this from up here. It's amazing. Whew. Make sure that the wind doesn't get a hold of my paper here. And I'm going to try to be not be moved by this. I'm sorry. Whew. It's amazing. So good morning. And on behalf of the Arcanum-Butler Board of Education and Administration, I would like to welcome you to this special edition of Commencement, our unique drive-in version of the 2020 commencement ceremonies. I want to make sure that we take a few minutes and thank a few people that made all of this happen. I want to thank our class advisor, Heather Whitaker, high school secretary, Kim Hollinger, guidance counselor, Catherine Burrell, our tech director, Dave Baker, Matt Grody, who's flying our drone today for that footage, maintenance supervisor, Jeff Brown, the Rose Post, Orm Hardware, B2 Studios, Route 49 Transport for the use of our lovely stage, Wagner Paving, Broomball Construction for our stairs, Flory Landscaping for all of our beautiful plants and trees, Chief Ballinger and Officer John Wilt of the Arcanum PD, and our many good-looking staff members helping direct traffic today and getting everybody in place. A very special thank you to Rachel Farron and Rose Lambert. What you see is these ladies, last several days worth of work. They were here all day yesterday, in here this morning. I think this looks amazing. So really want to thank those two ladies for making it happen. Yes, well, a honk would be appropriate. Yeah. Hey, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this right and have a little bit of fun. I tell you what, the Arcanum community coming out to supporting you is pretty amazing. So, you know what? Let's have some fun with this unique situation. I think just maybe one final thank you might be appropriate for this time. Sitting right next to me, I don't know how many principals have cooking shows that they have submitted for their students to see. Lots of cooking shows and dressing up, all sorts of videos. Nothing like prom when your superintendent dresses up and shows up at your door. I don't know how many times. And it's kind of funny. I say this about Jason and those who know him. You know, at a ball game, I'm comfortable. I'm walking around talking to everybody. Jason would rather grab the broom, right, and be sweeping the floor. He's a worker. And it's funny though. You give him a stage, or you give him a mic, or you give him an opportunity to be in front of the camera, and man, that guy lights up, doesn't he? Right? Above and beyond, makes my job easy. So thank you, sir. Graduates of 2020, forever that will be remembered as the drive-in graduation or the COVID-19 graduation. Let me start off by saying I wish, and I'm getting a look at least of some faces, those who are a little bit closer. I always like the opportunity when I'm speaking to be able to look out across your faces, because I think about all the different memories as I saw you in your elementary days growing up, and it just seems like it was a few years ago that you were walking those hallways, and now you're here graduating. Amazing. I think it's interesting. I should have known that this ride-in, drive-in graduation and your class would end in such an interesting way. Your class has given us lots of entertainment, lots of excitement, a lot of great moments throughout the years, and I'm proud of you and all of your accomplishments. But I think it started on day one of kindergarten. And I'm going to tell a little story, and I hope this guy doesn't mind it, but day one, we're still back in the old building, and I'm in Mr. Combs, who is the current superintendent at the time, and I believe current high school principal Jim Gray was in there. I'm not sure why we had a meeting on the first day of kindergarten, who work with Mr. Combs, you probably say, yeah, you had a meeting on first day of school, first day of kindergarten. That would be about right. But we're sitting in Mr. Combs' office and starting talking about the year and getting off to a good start. And I see a flash go by the window. It was a little flash. And I'm thinking, I think that was a student. A couple seconds later, and Jim gets up. I think Jim gets up and Mr. Combs gets up. A couple seconds later, I see, at the time, our guidance counselor go running through the window. And then I think maybe I see our nurse, and I say, Mr. Combs, excuse me, but I think I need to check out what's going on. So I get out, and I run out. I'm running across Weisenbarger and make my way to the back of the building where they were able to corner this young student and track him down and convince him, as we were all convincing him, that it's going to be okay. This is the first day of school. You're going to love it. And what's been interesting is I don't think I've talked to this guy since that first day about it. But throughout the years, as I've seen him grow up, I think about that, and I get a smile to my face because I'm like, man, that kid, I remember what it started out as, and look what he's doing. That kid I'm talking about has had a great high school career. He's excelled in the classroom and athletics. He's been a captain on the football field. He's your prom king, and he's one of our valedictorians. So, Austin, I'm sorry if I embarrass you on this, but I'm proud of you. It's been a story I've been waiting for several years now to tell. But what a guy, and what a start to kindergarten. This group has had many memorable moments throughout the years. From an academic standpoint, one of the highest, and maybe the highest overall since I've been superintendent. So much so that, and this is no disrespect to the valedictorians that came before, but our valedictorians today, Kayla, Austin, Rachel, and Araya, have excelled so much that in any other year in recent past, they would have been the lone valedictorians. Now, I think part of that is because this is one of the most competitive groups that I can recall, and that started on the playground, I think, even in the elementary days. Very competitive in every different way. But from an academic standpoint, you look at our top 10, our top 20, I mean, just overall in the class, and this is a class that's been very sharp and just very impressive. And again, they've pushed each other, just like brothers and sisters push each other. It's been a group that has excelled athletically for many years. All the way down to youth and junior high. I can still remember watching some girls over at Newton, I think, in 5th and 6th grade on the hard court. These groups of boys and girls hardly lost. As high school athletes, there's been conference titles, run in the playoffs in football, runs in the postseason for baseball and softball in past years, a near appearance at state for the boys golf team, deep runs in the playoffs for our volleyball and girls basketball teams this year. We've got a 2-time state qualifier in wrestling, a state track and field qualifier, and a slew of records that were broken by teams and individuals, including 2,000-point scorers in Kayla and Carter. We've got a group of musicians who, under their leadership the last few years in band and choir, have competed at the very highest levels. So good, in fact, that Mrs. Marsh had to move them up to another level in OMA competition because we needed to make sure we were challenging them. And if you've heard our band and had that opportunity, they're outstanding, and they've been outstanding every year. Superior ratings in some of the best shows in the state. We've got talented actors on the stage, and I've enjoyed most of the shows, or all the shows that I've been to. But what I was going to say is this year are some of the favorite. I bring my family all the time, and we left this year, and the boys were kind of like, yeah, Dad, I think that was the best one that they could recall. We've got groups of students who made our ag program come back to life, made it possible to build that addition back there because of the talent, the effort that they put